Alright guys, let's get it started and fired up here. Game 1 of this casting session here. An interesting cast of characters in this game, and I think that we're really going to enjoy what we see. So let's get these guys all lined up. Switch my overlay over. I believe this is how it's supposed to be. I'm not quite sure if Ninebreaker is going to go bottom or in the mid lane. He does have exhaust, so it makes me think he's going bot lane. But we'll see. So Flame No Fame saying I believe that blue will win. They might. If they can get their pick count rolling, then they can do really, really well. And honestly, they can snowball into the late game because Poppy is fantastic when you get to like the 35 and 40 minute mark. And sometimes even before then, depending on how fed he gets, or she gets. So it just depends on how that turns out. Ninebreaker looks like he's got a little bit of computer issues there, so there's going to be a slight pause. And he has returned. Let me slide my scene around just a bit. Do that. I also want to come in here, take the properties. That's not what I want. Oh, okay, it's not gonna let me change what it is. Okay, gotcha. Alright, so I'm not sure if a pause actually came out. Ninebreaker is still sitting in the base, no items purchased, so I imagine, there we go. Got it together. Remember guys, these games are tournament drafts, so if you end up having to pause for somebody to reconnect because they've got some sort of computer issue going on, do not hesitate to do so that we can make sure that we get a fair match here, because the last thing we need is a 4v5, because those are rough. Alright, so we'll just wait for this reconnect to go through, and then we'll get this game started. Yeah, that's what I thought they should do too. I honestly thought they would pause a bit earlier, seeing that she wasn't moving. Typically, Dark Crimson Blade's the one that scouts out for that sort of stuff, but he actually is not on Ninebreaker's team, so there's no way you can see that. Alright, so let's take a look at some of these starting items here. Teemo's actually opting to go a cloth 5-pot start just to live through some of this early game J4 harass, because what people don't honestly realize is that the Dragon Strike from J4 can do some significant damage once you get 2 to 3 ranks into it, and neither of them have teleport, so the first person to die is really going to be set very, very far behind if they get punished properly by like pushing the lane forward or just getting zoned out of experience or something like that. So he really needs to make sure that he stays safe there, otherwise he's going to be in a bit of trouble. And then Dearth is going the standard Flask 3-pot start for J4. Typically you use that just to get that sustain through. Make sure you've got enough mana to keep dragon striking your enemy and just poke them out of lane slowly. And then once they're low enough, of course, you EQ combo onto them, toss down your Ignite, and then get that passive auto attack in there. Alright, so bottom lane Miley Cyrus has obtained rush control fairly easy because the support has not arrived in lane yet. Ninebreaker making his way down. We do see that he has gotten that Frost Queen's start there, and he's going to pick up actually an additional award over getting some additional potions. So interesting choice on his part. Both junglers starting at their blue buffs. Casper seems to know that Poppy has some pretty heavy mana requirements early on in the game, and her clear is kind of slow to get rolling, so he needs that mana to just clear through his jungle, and it looks like he's actually going to be forced to actually go back after that first 2 camps there. So Grump, blue, base, couple wards and a pink actually, and then he's going to get back into the jungle and see if he can't clear this bottom half. Topside, a little bit of trading going down between Dark Crimson Blade and Dearth. Both of them looking fairly equal there in terms of that trade damage. Good Glitter Lance coming out of Miley Cyrus down onto the bot lane duo of Ninebreaker and Gyna Punch. So they're going to get good pressure here. Looks like both sets of guys are level 2. Ninebreaker goes in for a little bit of harass with his Q, but takes a volley to the back in response there. He's actually fairly low here. He's been very susceptible to this poke in lane. Yeah, I don't know why they're both going back before that second buff, but I imagine it's just because they both lack that early game resilience that a lot of other junglers have. Typically, like your Gragas, your Rek'Sai, your Lee Sin, have some sort of, shield or sustain that they can rely on to get through that third buff, or at least get through like a Wolf Camp or a Scuttle Crab or something like that, so that they have their smite up for their red buff and they can heal back up and make sure they don't die on that. But they both opted for that safe route. Wu just wanted Chilling Smite? Maybe. Could be what he was going for. Top side of the map, though, Dark Crimson Blade gets jumped on by Came to Game. Lol Casper shows up a bit too late, and it looks like Came to Game is just going to clone his way out of that fight and set that lane a little bit uneven and force Teemo to use some of those potions. Alright, outside of the map, Claw comes out. Red side's half health at the moment. Both of them have been chugging potions for a decent amount of time here. At least Ninebreaker has. Gyna Punch is still sitting on his. He doesn't want to use that if he thinks that he can heal all the way to full over the course of the laning phase. He doesn't want to end up wasting that potion. Being very preservative with that. Dearth goes in onto Dark Crimson Blade, takes a little bit of damage in return. That blind underneath the tower. Dearth feels like he's waiting for that blind to wear off anytime he wants to go in for a trade, and that's when you're going to get that return damage really put in on a Teemo. The thing is that you typically want to do it exactly after the blind duration wears off, because any time that you waste not going in on him after that blind is complete gives him additional time to get that blind back up and increases the chance that you're going to have an unfavorable trade if you EQ onto him. So you have to be very, very careful. Taking a look at the bot lane farm, 31 to 26 between Kuju and Gyna Punch respectively, and it looks like they're fairly even there. The lane is pushed up towards the red side of the map. Ignite comes out from Dark Crimson Blade against Dearth, and he's just not able to do anything about it. Good dash onto the bottom lane from Came the Game, but no follow-up from the rest of Red Team. Poppy now walking into lane here, flashes forward, pushes Ninebreaker back, Snare comes out, but it's not going to be enough to save his life. He opted to not burn his flash there, thinking that there was no way to get out, and I honestly think he's about right there. George P. Burdell actually barriers an entire freeze pop from Barracon. It eats the entire shield value almost, and he's still going to be forced to base after that. Good polymorph coming out of Miley Cyrus onto Gyna Punch as he rocket jumps away. Not able to secure any sort of kill there, but definitely puts on the pressure so that Kuju is able to just farm fairly freely and then get this CS in a relaxed fashion. But Gyna Punch is hanging out. He's like, you know what, I don't think there's any pressure of me dying here, so I'm just going to make sure I can last hit under turret from a safe distance. So he does get some of that XP. He misses some of those last hits because of the explosive charge passive. And it looks like Miley is just going deep on this harass game. Unbreaker's having a difficult time keeping up with it. There it goes once again. Ninebreaker taken very, very low. Mid lane Barracon once again throws out the freeze pop, and it does its increased damage for 217. And Ninebreaker's got, 42 magic resist, so he's sitting on a good amount there. Still getting chunked very, very heavily from Miley Cyrus. Explosive Charge comes out. Top lane, it looks like there's going to be a spat between Dark Crimson Blade. Mid lane, there's actually a kill between Barricon and George P. Burdell. Giant Punch is forced to jump and flash away after picking up the kill on Miley Cyrus near the turret. Came the game actually steps on a shroom and is forced to Chilling Smite Dark Crimson Blade for the kill on the top side. So a bunch of kills going down over the course of about 30 seconds there. But at the end of it all, tied up gold values for the most part and tied up kill scores for both ends. So it's a very tight game still. Bottom side, red team will lose a little bit of value as these minions crash into the turret. But once again, that exact same value is almost reflected on the top lane as Came to Game whacks away at that turret after he cleaned up that kill on DCB. Uh-oh. Top side looks like Lawcasper shows up, not able to really last hit these minions too well till that passive builds up a bit, giving him that additional damage. Now Dearth is back in the lane, so he's probably going to tag out with Dark Crimson Blade in just a second. Alright, so looks like George P. Burdell's having a little bit of trouble in the mid lane going against Barricon here. You see that he's 1 kill down, as well as 6 CS. So he needs to be a bit careful on his positioning because Wukong can come in at any point in time, land that knock-up with the Cyclone ulti, and then pretty much zero him out for free considering that his flash is on cooldown. So, still tied up game here. Bottom lane vision is looking pretty good. Blue side's got that pink ward there to protect any sort of flank ganks from Wukong. Looks like Wukong's getting a little bit low on his red buff, but he shouldn't go down here. Ulti comes out from Kujo on a 9-breaker, and that last crit auto attack will take him out. Giant Punch forced to walk away. Not able to really get that buster shot down in time. Once again, George P. Burdell with a very good timing on that barrier. Just completely negates one of those combos, but they're coming out so quickly that there aren't enough summoner spells on the face of the planet to stop all of that damage. Casper shows up in the mid lane looking for a good gank on Barricon. Doesn't quite make contact with the wall for the additional damage in that stun duration, but does get a good hit on him. Blind comes out from Dark Crimson Blade onto Dearth, and it looks like he's going to get one shroom down. Can he finish off Came to Game before he spins away? Dearth goes very low. Came to Game actually burns down from, I think, a minion auto attack. And the dot coming out of that last mushroom. He does not even have the Leandries yet. He needs to be careful. Oh no! Dearth steps on a shroom. Will it kill him here? He pops the shield hoping to stay alive. But Casper looks like he's there to pick up the assist. He will not give away the assist, only giving that kill to Dark Crimson Blade. And now Giant Punch is looking for the kill on Miley Cyrus. Can't quite find it. Kuju actually picks up the kill on 9-breaker. Buster shot away to keep Kuju away. Good jump in, but negated by the Wild Growth. Miley Cyrus with those quick hands make sure that Kuju stays alive and picks up yet another kill, or actually in this case an assist. Barricon just keeping the pressure up against George P. Burdell. Now at a 10 minion lead, about 150 gold is what that sort of minion lead looks like. He's going to go get his blue buff here. So 11 minutes in, blue team has now taken the lead as they double over red team's kill score here. They've got a few CS advantages, actually just up in the top lane and the bottom lane. Mid lane still is a problem point for blue side. They really need to get their guys in position and do something about this Anivia. They really need to stop him from getting too many items under his belt, because if he does get there, he can clear out these waves so effectively and stop them from closing out the game in a timely fashion. And that gives the rest of his comp to scale, time to scale into the late game and really become a destructive force. Everyone on that red side team scales into the late game fairly well, so they've got to be very careful how that goes down. Alright, 9-breaker lands the slow into Kuju. No follow-up damage there as he doesn't have any vision into that tri-brush. Mid lane, it looks like a good knockback comes out of Casper, forcing the flash out of Barricon. It looks like he's going to toss down the diplomatic immunity, looking for the kill here. I think Barricon does have the passive. He does. Casper goes back under the turret, and it looks like it might be a double kill here. 2 kills split between Came to Game and Barricon. That greedy dive. not able to really make anything come of it. Came to game with that clairvoyant response. Shows up at just the right time. Ulti goes down onto Kuju. Couple auto attacks, no, just the explosive charge and one auto going down onto Ninebreaker. Not enough damage to actually pick up the kill on 9. It looks like Miley Cyrus ends up picking it up, but top side of the map, a good flash dragon strike from Dearth ends up cleaning up that kill onto Dark Crimson Blade, not falling into the trap of that top lane brush. Came to game, walks up top, steps on a mushroom. These guys need to be very careful where they walk because the shrooms can be devastating. Dark Crimson Blade doesn't quite have that Leandros finished up, so they won't taste the full extent of that poison burn. But he's got a good amount of that early penetration, so it still does a decent chunk of damage. Uh-oh, top lane Casper looking to possibly knock someone into a mushroom. Can't quite find it. Dearth just knocked a little bit to the front and nothing else. Both he and Came to Game will just walk away now. George P. Riddell shows up in the top lane and lands the Miasma, but can't quite find the Q to get the speed boost and close that distance and get additional Twin Fangs off. He's going to have to settle for clearing that pink ward out of the tri-brush and going back to the mid lane and hopefully finding a solution for that Anivia. Anivia's lead in the mid has now exploded to a 35 minion lead, and now he is also 2 kills up from that failed dive they attempted. Alright, so now 14 minutes into the game, 2k gold lead, actually 1.2k gold lead coming out for red team here. The kill score has been closed up quite tightly though. Blue team in a position to where if they get a couple of objectives under their belt, they'll be right back in it. They just need to manage their farm properly and make sure they can get these turrets safely. Stun comes out from Barracon onto Miley Cyrus. The freeze pop might be able to take him out. Arrow goes wide. Last auto attack from Barracon cleans up that kill there. And looks like Ninebreaker's taken very, very low. Kuju now is realizing that Anivia is not following up on this play. He's just going to go in and get that auto attack down. Came to game, doesn't quite land the Q before he starts spinning, but he was still clean up a couple of these kills, or set them up for Giant Punch. Dark Crimson Blade now runs down, walking directly over a pink ward. Slow comes out from Barracon, straight into a triple kill from Giant Punch, so that's going to put him in a very nice position. He is now going to be sitting on 1,000 gold, so he's going to be able to get about a Zeal here, and kind of start playing into that crit optimization for his Infinity Edge and really start skyrocketing that damage for the mid to late game. Alright. Alright. Miley Cyrus doing what he can to try to protect this turret, but it looks like it's just going to go down with no repercussions here. Decent ward coverage. Uh-oh, Giant Punch actually jumps right in onto Kuju. Kuju doesn't have his ulti up in time quite yet to respond. Volley almost takes out Giant Punch. Glitterlance goes out, but actually misses. And Giant Punch once again walks away with 2 more kills. This Tristana has exploded in terms of total gold value. Casper comes in to try to clean up these 2 kills, but I'm not sure if he can close the distance in time. Throws down the Diplomatic Immunity onto Ninebreaker, hoping that he won't CC him before he gets into Giant Punch. He's closing the distance very slowly. 1 more Q will do it. He gets it. He's looking to line up the wall slam here. I don't know if he can quite do it. He wants to actually close this distance and maybe get this last kill on Ninebreaker, but Ninebreaker makes it to the safety of that inner turret before he can actually get to him. Those Moby Boots kind of betraying him in combat because they do make you slower than Boots 2 when you do start taking damage, so you got to be careful how you use them. They are an initiation boot, not a team fighting and chasing boot. For that you want some mercs. Barracon looking like he's just going to solo up that blue buff fairly easily. Dearth walks over yet another shroom. They are actually kind of thinly dispersed here, not as clumped as you saw the last time Dark Crimson played Teemo in the top lane. Now Darth is trying to see if he can't steal away this blue buff. He's low HP. George P. Burdell could honestly just go ahead and engage right on him. Flash forward. He throws down the Petrifying Gaze. He actually doesn't get the stun down, but he's going to end up picking the kill up regardless. Blue buff resets, so he's not going to be able to solo out and finish it off by himself. It looks like DCB is going to show up and help him out with this, so he's got to be careful. Make sure that Twin Fang was the last hit set, otherwise the Teemo Poison might end up stealing it away from him. Alright, so red team opting to keep their bottom lane bot. They just want to keep additional pressure on these turrets. They're noting that most of their lanes are doing fairly well here, considering that all of their turrets, all of their outer turrets are up. So they don't really see a need to group up quite yet, since individually they're very strong in these small skirmish fights. So I like the decision making that they've got going here. What they need to start doing is sliding that vision forward into the enemy jungle and making sure that they can get these these deeper lane pushes a little bit more safely. Once they do that, they'll be good. Giant Punch spotted out by Law Casper. Diplomatic Immunity goes down on a 9-breaker. He throws down the Frozen Tomb on Law Casper to stop the damage just a bit, but George P. Burdell ends up picking up the kill up on the back end with some poison. Top lane turret goes down to the DCB split push as Darth comes right back to push it back in his direction. Now blue team is looking like they just want to pick up this Scuttle Crab and maybe group up for some additional action. They do have the, actually don't have the Petrifying Gaze from Cassiopeia to work with right now. They're kind of probably waiting for that to come up before their next big engage. They also don't have Kuju's Enchanted Crystal Arrow to toss out and get that stun out that they need as well. So without those two things, their CC in terms of engage is kind of lacking. So they've got to be very, very careful on how they use those two abilities. Dash forward from 9-breaker gets him into the middle of the fight for a really nice snare that sets up 3 kills for Wukong with the aid of the rest of the team. And red team is now in a position where they might be able to push towards mid-turret. Alright. Looks like Dark Crimson Blade is trying to find a good hiding spot so he can pick someone off if they step over one of these shrooms, but he's got to be careful because there's a lot of damage standing on him. Giant Punch gets taken low, Gut Ignite and Poison, Heal gets popped out, but the dash and football tackle comes out from Poppy. Barracon tosses out a decent wall, but it's not leveled up to actually leveled up enough to make contact with the rest of the terrain there. Actually, the snowstorm there just picks up the kill on Dark Crimson Blade as he gets a little bit greedy for another blind auto attack combo. And this Anivia continues growing in strength. Alright. So blue team sitting now behind about 8k in gold, 14 kills to 21 as the lead swung very heavily back into red team's favor after they started leaving their lanes, grouping up and making these team fights happen a little bit better. Darth considering going in on Kuju, considering just the amount of burst damage he can put out with that Cataclysm and EQ combo. Darth actually walks over a shroom. He's going to be fairly safe though as he just flag and drags right over that ledge to safety. Alright, so at this point in the game, it's where blue team really needs to start putting that pick comp that they've got into motion. They need to get that Enchanted Crystal Arrow out and just pick off people one at a time rather than looking for these, 5v5 engages. And if red team is grouped, they just want to sit under their turret as much as possible, wave clear as best they can, and try to get some poke down before going in. Otherwise, the J4 Wukong Anivia combo just does too much damage to them, especially with that 9-breaker snare and ulti on top of it. It's just too much area damage for them to deal with, and they don't have a dedicated tank to really take or soak all that damage and kind of put threat on that back line. Casper is doing a very good job of making sure that he puts pressure there using Diplomatic Immunity. Actually, Enchanted Crystal Arrow comes out, lands on a 9-breaker. That's the pick that they need to get. George Peardale flashes out, but it still takes 548 damage from the freeze pop toss on Anivia. She's just got so much damage right now and starting to build up that mana regen as well. Another kill for the bird This Barracan just tosses out freeze pops for everyone, usually a delicious snack. But right now, a painful, painful weapon being used. Came the game, hits 2 shrooms, decently spaced apart, and he's going to lose a lot of health for it. Giant Punch pulls the chickens. It might be the end of his life. It is. He doesn't clear that wall. I don't know if it was the football tackle that did it or what. DCB actually dodged that stun. Because he did that, he could have turned the other direction and ducked in the closer way to get back to Anivia, and I think he might have been able to take her out. He still has to fear the snowstorm slow freeze pop toss combo. But he might have been able to get some damage in. He still doesn't have any magic resist, though. This is the point in the game where you need to start considering things like Abyssal Scepter, you know, your Locket of the Iron Solari, even Banshee's Veil. Anything that's going to help you live a little bit longer against the 1-2 punch of Anivia is going to be helpful. Uh-oh. Dearth comes into the jungle looking for a Teemo. Can't quite find it before he gets back to base, even though he gets very close. Casper, trapped in the pit with Dearth, decides to just go 1v1, using that Poppy passive to its fullest. Actually gets a shield from Miley Cyrus and will get the ulti as well. Barely staying alive, taking half damage the entire time. Any other champion would have died immediately. Ninebreaker walks over Shroom and takes half his health and damage. And now Miley Cyrus scouts him out with a ward. Crimson Blade's got that frost on him. It falls off, so it looks like Anivia's not going to be able to take him out fairly easily. Blind comes out as well as Ignite, and that will pop Anivia's egg. Not quite knocking him dead, but he will have that passive down for the time being. Alright. China Punch working on this bottom lane turret, takes it down to about half before Casper shows up. Looks like he's going to have an easy time getting away, just jumping over the wall into the jungle. Ninebreaker looking for the potential enrage. Looks like Came to Game is just going to get in with that crushing blow, Nimbus Strike, and Cyclone combo. But it looks like that Ashe is going to be able to walk away quite easily, actually. Kuju just able to walk out of that one after burning a flash and heal. The rest of the team trying to clean up that kill on Wukong, but can't quite find it. Casper finds Giant Punch in the jungle. He's forced to rocket jump over the wall, over the end of blue buff there. Now Kuju's trying to pick up any scraps of farm he can get to try to close this gold deficit between he and Giant Punch. Taking a look at the gold values there, he's about 1,400 gold behind. In terms of ADCs, that's enormous because they're so gold dependent, whereas top laners and tanks are more level dependent than anything. Miley Cyrus caught out by Dearth in the jungle. EQ combo doesn't make contact, only the flag does. Casper goes in, locks him into the wall. He uses a Cataclysm and Flash to try to get away. Kuju gets the last hit on him, though. 3 other assists going to the rest of Blue Team as they help work on that. When Casper finds Barracan a little bit too close to comfort in the jungle, jump forward from Giant Punch actually gets met with an Anivia wall as they tried to lock him in, but Casper ends up flashing forward to safety. Claw over the wall. Ninebreaker actually finds Dark Crimson Blade. Can't quite get this ulti to cast properly. I think it actually canceled the canceled the cast there because of the distance he was at. He barely got out of range. While Casper walks up looking for a kill on Barracan, but even through the half damage OP Poppy passive, he just gets bursted down by the 1-2 punch. As everyone has, as you can see, like, she's doing 800 damage with each one of those icicles. That is insane for a point-and-click ability. Uh-oh. Enchanted Crystal Arrow goes down on a Ninebreaker. He puts himself in immune state, and it looks like the Anivia wall is going to keep him safe as well. Came to game looking for a potential kill on Miley Cyrus, but can't quite get close enough to actually get that. He actually gets completely taken out by the Anivia once again. Barracan just dominating this entire game. Hasn't died yet. He's got the top farm, top gold value by far here. Sitting up about 2k over Wukong, who's the second runner-up for that. So he is very, very wealthy. Yeah, there is no Aegis ready to roll on Red Team. Instead, they've opted to get pretty much a bunch of damage items. I think Wukong... I'm sorry, Blue Team's the one that needs that Aegis. They've got a They've got an Athene's and Holy Grail on Lulu, but they needed to have that be an Aegis over that Athene's. If that was an Aegis instead of the Athene's, it could have been a Locket as well, and it would have helped them out so much, even against the AD. Being able to pop that shield up for your entire team helps mitigate something rather than nothing. So they really, really could use the aid of that. That being said, no one on blue team, like I said before, is really ready to take a huge amount of damage. Poppy is primarily looking to go focus on one guy, but there's no one really to keep the enemy Wukong and J4 away from the back line of their team, as we see Dearth just finding Kuju and just bursting him out completely immediately. Giant Punch going 1v2, actually 1v1 against Dark Crimson Blade there. Came to game, has to spin his way out of this fight. Casper's got the speed boost going on. He's got a shield on him. Ulti comes out from Cassiopeia, but it actually doesn't get the full cast off before he goes down. Giant Punch gets the kill onto Miley Cyrus there, and it's red team just forcing blue directly out of this jungle very, very quickly. It's going to be a little bit of chase action here, trying to find the kill on Lol Casper. Stun goes into the wall. Giant Punch will get taken out by the Poppies. Slow actually goes wide. It looks like Casper might be able to escape. Can't quite get it. He's crit for 346 on the Icicle. Just shatters his entire little Yordle body for the rest of his health. That Dearth double Merc Treads. The tenacity stacking goon. He's like, you know what I could use right now? Additional magic resist, movement speed, and CC reduction. I'm gonna get 2 of these. Does not work like that. Oh, 1 for each hand, 0 chaos. I think you might be right. He is doing some acrobatics on the rest of the team. Uh-oh. Dark Crimson Blade might have gotten spotted out here. He doesn't quite get spotted out. Came to game, forced to run away here, poked down to about half HP. He doesn't have any sort of magic resist to deal with this Teemo. He does have a frozen mallet though, so once he lands that crushing blow on anybody, it's going to slow them down to where he can spin on them for the entire duration of that ulti, unless they burn that flash, guaranteed. Alright, Bearcon just hanging out in the enemy jungle. He's waiting on commonly warded places to see if he can't just get a one-shot on somebody. Like I said before, he is the gold leader in this match. So one to be watching out for if you are blue team. Uh-oh. Miley Cyrus turns the corner into the wrong neighborhood as he gets bursted down completely by Came the Game and Ninebreaker. Dragon not up for a couple minutes quite yet, so there's no objective here at the bottom side of the map quite yet. I think that red team might need to make a play where they bait the enemy into the Baron pit, but it looks like Ninebreaker's just going to walk in, trying to get that greedy deep vision, and gets taken out by the smash against the wall from Lol Casper. Stun onto Dark Crimson Blade. Anivia might know he's there, but there's not much she can really do about it besides leave her ulti up underneath him for a super long time and use a whole bunch of mana. Yaps not to do it. Casper considering flashing that wall, but decides to save it. He's not quite sure if that's what he wants. Good stun comes out of Barracon. He takes another 375 damage to the face. Lol Casper takes even more from the explosive charge and buster shot, and he goes down. Dark Crimson Blade looking to pick up the kill on Giant Punch after flashing forward. Can't quite find it. The burn isn't enough. EQ combo takes out DCB, and red team once again with a decisive team fight victory. And they're just going to push forward into the enemy base here. Another stun lands on the Kuju. EQ looking for the kill on Kuju from Dearth. Chanting Crystal Arrow was up, but he just could not react quite in time. Barracon looking for the kill on Miley, ends up getting it with the last couple ticks of that AoE damage. China Punch ends up taking this turret laser, will get executed by it, and that's going to mean that this inhibitor takes a little bit longer for them to knock over, but not too much longer. 2 inhibitors down for blue team means that almost seals their fate. Dash back in from Ninebreaker is going to seal his death here. Another crit icicle coming out from Barracon, hits for 843 onto Teemo. Just Once again, the little Yordle bodies are the ones that really shatter like crazy. Alright, Casper 1v1 against Dearth. It looks like he's trying to get the 1v1 respect, can't quite find it. Dearth actually ends up picking up the kill there. Looking for the kill on Dark Crimson, George P. Burdell. The Petrifying Gauge actually goes a little bit wide. Barracon might die here. He's a little bit tankier than they expect. Good knockup from Dearth, might end up saving Barracon's life. It will! He gets a double kill off of it. Good engage from Dearth to make sure that his bird can stay alive there. Alright, red team in the driver's seat for sure here. Sitting on at about a 17... 17k gold lead. A gold lead which most would consider insurmountable. But of course we have all experienced crazier things. Alright, Dark Crimson Blade finds Dearth in the top side of the map there. Flash forward from game to game, gets the good crushing blow down on him, spinning on him with the Cyclone. He's going to be able to pick up the kill, dashes forward, and actually gets the crushing blow down on the Casper before, just after that blind finishes up there. Trinity Force purchased up by J4, so that one-hit combo from the Martial Cadence is going to do a ridiculous amount of damage once he lands the EQ. Ironbreaker looking to claw forward, actually doesn't go in onto Casper, because Casper does do a decent amount of damage at this stage in the game, but red team's going to take it tutorial style, take it safe, and push down this top lane turret and look for this top lane inhib. Flash forward, slow George P, and he actually takes him down to half health with just the 1-2 punch. George P. Burdell has a little bit of magic resistance under his belt, and that might have been enough to keep him alive there. I have no clue. Yeah, dude, Clicker Heroes, I'm telling you, best game, best life. It's the best game to be playing. If you guys aren't playing Clicker Heroes, I'm not getting paid by them, but it's a free game on Steam. Go look it up. Give it 15 clicks. That's my advertising strategy. Just give it 15 clicks. Alright, red team looking like they want to set up this Baron. The game's a bit low, but I think he's going to be fine here. They just want to really get it low enough for the for him to smite it out there. Giant Punch not going to have to be the one to tank it. Game to game is still taking that residual AoE damage from it. They are not in danger of getting outsmited quite yet. Poppy is looking to possibly show up there. Game to game might die. I don't know if they can finish this off. Ulti comes out from Ninebreaker to try to finish this off, and two people die to it. Giant Punch is not able to finish it out. While Casper sees the death timers and he's going to show up to the Baron Pit, he actually picks up the last kill there in the area. Now Dark Crimson Blade knocked up, will get crit for 930 something damage and just annihilated it. Yeah, they made a downloadable game for Clicker Heroes. It runs off your Steam client now and syncs with the Steam Cloud so you can play it on all your devices. It's actually pretty crazy. Yeah, that Baron was a desperation play. While Casper trying to save his own life. I thought he was actually going to live there. He didn't quite make it. And now it looks like red team's just going to be able to walk this one right in. Maybe even just let the super minions finish it off because there's so many. Level 300 or whatever will take me along to get back to. If you guys want to take a look at my Clicker Heroes, I'll show you. I'm proud of these things, man. Here, let's actually let me wrap this game up first. Then I'll do it. I'll do it between games. All right, so red team actually coming out with a victory there. As we saw, Barracon in the mid lane. Let me switch my overlay. I think it's just all wrong right now. Barracon in the mid lane just dominated. I think the damage charts, gold charts, pretty much everything here. Yeah, take a look at that. Barracon definitely the carry of this match. Like I said, man, if that Ninja starts getting ahead and gets rolling, it will cut through literally everything on the planet. It doesn't matter who you are. Because of how quick and easy the combo is to throw down the AoE circle and then toss out the icicle, it doesn't leave a lot of windows for counterplays. Yes, she's very slow But the egg passive combined with the wall, combined with the fact that a lot of times she gets Rod of Ages or some sort of other defensive item to keep her up a little bit longer, means that there's a lot of time for her team to respond and protect her. So you have to be very, very careful when facing these Anivias. You gotta kind of shut it down early, get your mid laner to a point where they can keep killing this Anivia reliably. And when I say reliably, I mean even through the egg passive, because that's also something you have to be worrying about when you're playing against them. And then typically you're fine. But here, Bearcon went unchecked, carried the entire game hands down. He did a fantastic job there. But other notable players in the match came to game, had great jungle pressure, and Dearth really getting that roam on, keeping Kudru down very, very heavily by just looking for him in the jungle, getting the EQ combos into Cataclysm. Very, very stellar. And then we also saw great plays from Ninebreaker, keeping them locked up in place. China Punch always around as well to help clean up those kills. And really, he was more of a turret forcing down bot this match, using that explosive charge and the increased auto attack speed to just knock him over. And by the way, you totally beat Dearth, but that's not what I see here on my screen. It has appeared that Red Team has won. So I don't know what to say about that. Alright, so what we'll do is we'll go into the next game here, boys.